T-shirt, and we didn't even plan this. We didn't plan it. Shout out to Kenny Graham, executive producer Kenny Graham of the show. If you need anything as far as any guidance as far as videos concerned, if you want to do a short movie or even a long movie, or if you need help with the camera, you want to figure out what type of camera to use, just call Kenny Graham, the executive producer, and he knows everything about the equipment, everything about the industry, everything about everything that deals with music, videos, movies, and even camera work. He's got his own photography, and he's got some excellent gallery of photography.
All right.
So definitely add Kenny Graham. What's your Twitter? What's your Twitter, Ken? What's that Twitter handle? At KP Media Studio. At Twitter. And
all right.
No doubt. So we're getting right into it. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got the NBA starting next week. We saw a few. I actually went to the Brooklyn Nets preseason versus the Wizards, and I've been watching a lot of the Brooklyn Nets. Been watching a lot of the Knicks preseason. Been just watching a lot of preseason across the board. We're going to talk about some preseason stuff about in the NBA. But before we get into that, let's talk about this World Series right quick. And we're already 2 games in. Is Detroit a done deal as far as you're concerned, from what you've seen so far, heard so far, as far as they're a done deal?
Yeah, because, the thing with Detroit, if you watch this entire, the Yankees should be kicking themselves in the head. Only thing Detroit has and what they do is just hit home runs. They look for the big ball. See, Detroit don't do the little things like steal bases. They don't bunt. They
don't play small ball.
They don't. Yeah, San Francisco, they play small ball. You got Pagan, he steals bases, he hits down the line. Marcus Scutaro moves runners over, he hits behind the runner. They do the fundamental things. They don't. And San Francisco don't need a home run to win the game. Even though Sandoval hit 3 home runs, he's not really a home run hitter.
Right.
But the thing with Detroit and San Francisco that you have to understand. Even though Detroit has a good pitching staff,
right,
you're finding out that San Francisco has a better pitching staff. Much better pitching staff.
Better pitching staff. Okay.
Yes, much better pitching staff.
So, yeah, it comes down to pitching, as we know. And the Giants have a better pitching staff than Detroit. Yes. And San Francisco plays small ball. And that had been the knock on the Yankees, that if they didn't hit home runs, then they were done.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole season. If they didn't hit a home run, I think they hit over 250 home runs this year.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. And if they didn't hit a home run, they were going to lose the game.
Yeah, so you have to steal bases. You have to bunt runners over. You have to.
And they got the right guy. And they got the right guy for Pagan.
Pagan and Scutaro. Those are 2. By the way, those are 2 former Mets.
Wow, no doubt.
Yeah, Marcus Scutaro, he was up with the Mets for like a brief period. The Mets used him as a pinch hitter mainly.
And so you talk about kicking themselves. The Mets are kicking themselves too. Watching Angel Pagan, Met fans.
But you know what the Mets have become? They have become the minor leagues of the major leagues, because once the Met players leave the Mets, they go on to bigger and better things with other teams.
True.
Look at Carlos Beltran.
Absolutely, Carlos Beltran.
And last year, what's his name? K-Rod. Last year.
And listen, you don't want Jose Reyes going to Boston. Boston's looking. You don't want the Jose Reyes because Boston. Or you don't want Jose Reyes going to San Francisco. You don't want Jose Reyes going to St. Louis.
No.
Because I don't think he's going to be with the Marlins very much longer now.
How about the Philadelphia Phillies?
Listen. So, all you people who hated the dancing, you're going to even hate it worse when Reyes comes in and dances with a team. It doesn't look like the Mets are going to win for a while. I'm sorry, Met fans. I'm a Met fan.
Me too.
Dan's a Met fan.
Yeah.
The Mets are not going to win for a while. That's it. It's like he said, it's a minor league team. And there's no sense of even debating it with anybody. The Mets are like a minor league. Dan said it perfectly. A minor league team. We just get teams ready to just give away guys
Like David
Wright's next.
Yeah,
David Wright is next. David Wright is next.
Yeah.
And David Wright is next because they're not going to be able to pay him. So we're just getting him ready for another team. Santana could be gone, and even R.A. Dickey could be gone.
And you know
Who
what?
knows?
I think in another 2 years, mark my words, R.A. Dickey is going to be a New York Yankee because that's the type of player that the Yankees get, a knuckleball pitcher that really sets up the pitching staff.
Yeah, I could see him fitting in after Pettit is gone.
Yeah.
He looked like a Pettit type that you could sign to like a 1-year deal every year. And if you want to come back, you could come back. If not, that's it. You can retire when you want.
Yeah.
No long-term deal, $15 million or $10 million a year. Because the Mets are not going to pay that.
Yeah,
the Mets are going to pay that. The Mets, like I said,
they should
the Mets
sell.
are,
Should sell the whole organization, man.
And then they talk about Sandy Alderson like he's some kind. I hate to go back to that, but they talk about Sandy Alderson like he's some kind of genius. They win 70 games every year. The Mets win 70 games every year, and it's just sad. And listen, folks. You pay for it at the box office. Let the Mets pay for it at the box office. Don't go for that nonsense. Don't go for any of that nonsense. They got rid of all our heroes. Pagan, they got rid of. They got rid of Beltran, and they got rid of Jose Reyes. They got rid of all our heroes. So
they could have made the playoffs.
The Mets could have made the playoffs with that. With those three.
Yeah.
With those three, the Mets could have made the wild card. The Mets could have made the playoffs with Pagan, Beltran, and Reyes. But they chose not to sign these guys and act like they were poor men. You got billionaires acting like they're poor now.
Yeah.
you got Wilpon, the Wilpons acting like they're broke. I mean, which is the biggest. I mean, you just think about it. You're a billionaire. You own half this town in real estate. And now you don't have money to pay players? Oh, my gosh. Moving right along. NFL, before we get into the NBA. NFL, we've got the Jets and the Giants. And look, the Giants are looking like, this like the Super Bowl. Like last year with that 9-7 record, go Eli, for Eileen, go Eli. The Giants, looked suspect last year. They looked like it was a fluke with their 9-7 going to win the Super Bowl. But this year, they're just like...
Now, I don't think the Giants are a fluke because this coach, Cawthon, he's a second-half strategist. If you notice the first half last year, the Giants were so-so. But usually their defense, they step up in the second half. What I'm seeing now, the defense is so-so. They really haven't... they stepped up against San Francisco, but they look like they Super Bowl ready. I hope they don't peak too soon because, when you peak too soon.
Yeah, the NFL, yeah. If you peak too soon with a lot of NFL teams. Who do they play this week, the Giants?
Oh, man. I know the Jets played Miami, but
I think the Giants play Dallas.
Did they play Dallas?
I think the Giants play Dallas. I think the Giants play Dallas. They've been talking about it all week. I think the Giants play Dallas at Dallas. So who do you think is going to win that? You think the Giants are going to go into Dallas? Because Dallas has to win.
Yeah.
In order to stay competitive within that division, the Dallas is that's a must-win for Dallas this week. Playing the Giants, they have to beat the Giants at home, or they're going to, I think they'll lose 5 games or something like that.
I think the Giants will take them.
You think the Giants will take them?
Yeah, because the Giants want to separate space and have a good record and, maybe rest some guys in the last 2 games of the season. I think the Giants, they in the driver's seat.
And then how about the Jets in Miami? Who do you think is going to win that one?
This is a must-win for the Jets.
It is a must-win for the Jets.
Because you know what? I thought the Jets was going to beat New England. It was a wild prediction, but everything I read going up to the game that the Jets were ready. I know the Jets are missing their top receiver, their top corner, and Revis. Like I said, their receiver, Santonio Holmes. But, again, there's no excuses. They have to win these games. They had that game. They were up 26.
I blame Rex Ryan for that.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to win. They did not play to win. They played to tie. You cannot play to tie. They played to tie. Running down the field during the end of regulation, going down the field during overtime, and just being happy that you kicked a field goal, you're not going to win. I'm like, what the heck is wrong with these guys? You got to go. I thought at least with 4th down and inches, they would have brought Tim Tebow in and tried to do some okey-doke stuff. They either try to get him to run the ball or something. But during the end of regulation, these are the types of decisions you got to make. And I blame Rex Ryan. And to be honest with you, I mean, Rex Ryan is, I'm beginning to see it now. I think Rex Ryan is just, and I've been supportive of the Jets ever since they've gotten Rex Ryan, but I do not think that Rex Ryan is the right coach for this team, to be honest with you. And it's not anything dealing with his personality. I could deal with all the stuff. That stuff doesn't bother me. I just don't think that the way he's handled Sanchez has gotten the bulk of the blame. I think Sanchez is a good quarterback, but you change wide receivers on him every year. I just don't think it's fair. I think Sanchez is fully capable, but I don't think the offense is geared for Sanchez. What do you got to say before we move on Sanchez?
They need a better offensive line. He needs better pass protection. I noticed when he gets out the pocket, there's really no pass protection, so he's scrambling. That's why he loses the ball. Another thing with the Jets that is their defense is not that good. They were supposed to have like a real good defense, but you saw they had a 26-23 lead in the 4th quarter with about $1:30 left, and the defense could not hold New England down. That's not a good defense. Right now, the Jets in trouble, and they have to beat Miami. If they don't beat Miami, you can forget it. They might as well tank in the season.
Yeah, that's a wrap. And yeah, Dan brought up another good thing that I was just going to allude to is Rex Ryan is supposed to be a defensive guru. And how are you a defensive guru when you give up 34 points? They gave up 34 points. Like, I could understand if you're a defensive team and you don't score and you give up 16, they lost 16 zip, but you're supposed to be a defensive team. 4 points? Nah, Rex has got to go. And listen, you could blame it on Revis or whatever. Revis leaving to an injury, I understand that, but they were giving up a lot of points with Revis in the lineup. So it's not Revis's fault. You got to get rid of Rex. You might have heard it first here. I don't know what other people are saying, but listen, I don't like the way Sanchez has been handled. So that's it in a nutshell. Moving right along, we've got the NBA starting in a couple of days. Next Thursday, October 30th.
Nets.
No, next Tuesday, actually. October 30th, the NBA begins. The Knicks Nets are November 1st. We just want to preview some teams. We want to give you a little preview of what you might see. Now, Dan, any team that you might want to focus on?
Nets.
The Nets. So let's talk about the Nets.
Nets.
He got the Brooklyn Nets. I want to see the Nets.
Nets.
The Nets are going to be competitive, folks. This is not going to be the same old Nets. Nets have Deron Williams. They've got Brook Lopez. They've got Gerald Wallace. They've got Joe Johnson. They've got Chris Humphries in their starting lineup. And then they've got C.J. Watson, Andre Blatch.
You like Andre Blatch?
Oh, yeah, I like Blatch. Well, I wanted the Knicks to get him. You know, even though we're wearing it, I'm going to talk for myself. Even though I'm wearing the Brooklyn Nets today, I'm definitely a Knicks fan, for sure. I'm just sporting the Nets because, you know, Brooklyn, I like the swag, I like the Barclays Center, I like all of that. But, yeah, I wanted the Knicks to get him. I wanted the Knicks to get Blatch, to be like a backup to Stoudemire. But, yeah, the Nets have a good team. It's just a matter of them playing defense and learning to get the chemistry together. Anything you want to add to the Nets?
Yeah, watch the way the backcourt is going to be run. You know, in the preseason, you can't tell too much, but I saw some things where the coach was running plays for Darren Williams, using Joe Johnson as a point and to set up Darren Williams for like a three-pointer. Also, I see something else that Avery is doing. He's going to try to use Joe Johnson as a post-up player. See, the Nets didn't have that last year. There's a bunch of things that the Nets have improved on. They have improved on their offense because last year they had guys like Johan Petro, Sheldon Williams, Sean Williams, Deshaun Stevenson, Anthony Morrow, Damian Jones, and Darren Williams. He couldn't play with that lineup that he had last year because nobody was really scoring. Now Darren Williams don't have to really score. He has options. He can pass now. Not only that, the Nets have defensive players that they have to work into the lineup. I'm talking about guys like Reggie Evans, Keith Brogans. These are defensive specialists. They also got a big power forward who, I don't think he's NBA ready, but he's a project. Mirsad Teletovic.
Yeah.
Now, he got a big body, but he has to learn to play the NBA game. I think he'd be ready within maybe about the first 20 games because right now he's not really in Avery's rotation. But this guy can really shoot the three and overseas. So he's going to be an asset off the bench. Another guy that we haven't mentioned is Marshawn Brooks.
Marshawn Brooks.
He's not really ready because injury in preseason set him back, but they want him to be more like a James Harden, a sixth man. And I think that he can be that because he was pretty good last year. Matter of fact, he saved the Nets in a lot of games last year in his rookie season. And he took the job away from Anthony Morrow. So the Nets, they're going to be very, very competitive. And I like what I see. Like Mike said, they have to play defense. I think they will play defense, and Avery Johnson is going to open up the playbook that he had in Dallas as far as offense and defense. He finally has a team. There's no excuses now for Avery Johnson.
There's no excuses for Avery Johnson now.
Yeah, and I think the Nets are a good goal.
The pressure's on Deron Williams. I think he can feel the pressure. And talking about Dallas, and we're just going to divert for a minute. Eddie Curry was with San Antonio but got waived, and he started for one of the preseason games. Last night. I think he had 11 and 7, something like that.
Yeah, 11 points.
11 points, 7 rebounds. Eddie Curry, for those Eddie Curry fans that are out there, Eddie Curry's now with the Dallas Mavs. And, hey, listen, the Dallas Mavs have somewhat of a team. You can't deny them now. You got Eddie Curry, Vince Carter, Dirk Nowitzki, who's injured right now.
How about the new players? They added Elton Brand, O.J. Mayo. Look for O.J. Mayo to average about 20 points a game now. And
he might even average more since Dirk. He's going to probably have to take more shots now that Dirk is out.
Yeah. They also have Chris Kaman and Daryl Collusion. It's a new point guard. He played last year. I forgot what team. I think it was Indiana last year. So they got a new point guard. Dallas did pretty good. They
did pretty good for losing a lot of players, losing Chandler and different ones last year.
They didn't get Darren Williams, but they sure got some good players. So watch out for Dallas. And they also still have Sean Marion.
Yeah, and they still have Sean Marion. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They still have Sean Marion still in the place to be, no doubt.
And then, another team you have to watch out for, and they've been surprising in preseason. Like I said, it's only preseason. Sometimes you can't take it serious. But Jeremy Lin is tearing up the preseason. He's leading the preseason in assists and steals. And Houston is winning in preseason. I'm saying, well, how is this? And they scoring a lot of points. You know what? Jeremy Lin is that good?
Yeah, I think so. Listen, I was a little shocked. I was a little shocked hearing all that stuff. I mean, I'm very shocked in hearing what's going on with Jeremy Lin and just the success that they've had in preseason. But I don't want to go too crazy. It's preseason. I don't want to go too crazy. Now, in that same conversation, the Lakers are 0-8 with their squad. The Lakers are 0-8. So we're going to have to kind of like approach this thing like, is 0-8 going to be reflective of what they have their 0-8 record in the preseason. That's going to be reflected in the regular season because now for those who are just turning in and just figuring out what's going on, the Lakers have Dwight Howard. They have Paul Gasol. They have Ron Artest.
Metta World Peace.
Metta World Peace, I'm sorry. They have Metta World Peace. They have Kobe Bryant, and they have Steve Nash.
Oh, you heard the latest?
What's that?
Kobe Bryant may miss opening game.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
I think the first 3 games he might miss.
Yeah, and if that's going to be a big loss for them if he loses it, and then they have Antoine Jameson coming off the bench. So they have a squad in LA, and I had told Dan privately, I'm gonna put it out there publicly. If the Lakers don't get off to a fast start, Brown is out of here.
Yeah, Phil Jackson might come back.
Yeah, Phil Jackson might come back.
He might come back.
Or D'Antoni.
You know what? That's also a good option.
I mean, he's used to a big city. I mean, I don't think Phil will come back to the Lakers.
You don't think so?
I don't think Phil is going to come back to the Lakers.
You think D'Antoni?
D'Antoni is a possibility. But other coaches could be a possibility too. Because remember, D'Antoni speaks Italian, Kobe speaks Italian. So
And Steve Nash.
And Steve Nash is a foreign player, and you have that connection with Steve Nash. You're right. Steve Nash played for D'Antoni, so he's already familiar with the D'Antoni system. And they're going to need they're going to need a system.
Yeah.
And it might not be the triangle offense.
Right.
And so who else to run the D'Antoni system but Steve Nash in LA? So this will be a very, 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 I cannot wait until October 30th. The NBA season begins, and the Knicks versus the Nets will be November 1st.
Now, what's the report on the Knicks? You know, I'm hearing so many things about J.R. Smith. You know what? This is what I heard.
There's a lot of controversy.
This is what I heard. I heard the Knicks might not have Tyson Chandler, Amari Stoudemire, J.R. Smith, James White, and Camby on opening day. Now, opening night. What's going on with that?
No, I heard that. I heard that definitely. Chandler will be back.
Okay.
He hurt himself. He hurt himself. He just has a bruised knee from the preseason game. He only played 45 seconds in that preseason game against the Nets.
And he ran into Crash.
Yeah, he ran into the guy, and they just he got up. He was on the floor for like a minute, and they pulled him up. And they took him in the back, and he was able to walk off the court. So it wasn't that serious. And then he had an MRI and whatever. So he's day to day. And I heard he didn't practice yesterday, but he's going to be back. He'll be back. J.R. Smith, I heard that his injuries aren't that serious either. Brewer is back. Brewer came back, and he played a tremendous game. And he's a defensive stopper. And I cannot wait to see what the Knicks have when you have Brewer and Chandler in the lineup at the same time, what kind of defense that's going to have. Now, talking about the Knicks, you have to talk about the head coach and Mike Woodson. Mike Woodson is a no-nonsense guy, and he's defense first. So he really, to me, doesn't care how much scoring the Knicks do. I think that his philosophy is defense first. And I think that he wants players here that are going to play defense. And he was in the net game, he was very, very happy that in regulation, the Knicks only gave up 86 points. He says, that's where we need to be. If we can keep teams under 90 points, we will be in every single game. And especially with having a scorer like Amari Stoudemire and Carmelo Anthony. I mean, guys who could put up points with the quickness. But yeah, I think that the Knicks are deep. They've got J.R. Smith, they've got Brewer, they've got Pablo Priglioni, who had 12 assists. And then they have the new rookie. Who's this new guy?
Chris Copeland?
Chris Copeland.
Now, what is the Knicks going to do with? Are they going to keep this guy, or they're going to throw him in the D League?
Well, he scored 34 points in one of these games. He scored 34 points. He did it against the Nets, but he scored 34 points in one of the preseason games. I can't remember. They've got to keep Chris Copeland. They've got to be insane. The Knicks will be insane if they let him go. Somebody will pick if they put him on the waiver wire. Somebody pick him up very quickly. Unless the Knicks have in their mind that they're going to get rid of Copeland and get somebody else who's probably going to be just as good as him, they better keep him.
Well, the only guy that's out there, I don't know would the Knicks make a staff for it. But you know what? If the Knicks are a smart organization, knowing Amari Stoudemire is going to have knee problems, I'm hearing that he might be out quite a while. They said like a month.
Well, yeah, I definitely heard a month.
The player that's out there that's waiting to be signed is Kenyon Martin. And if the Knicks do not bring back Copeland for the regular season, if they smart, they should go out and sign Kenyon Martin, because I think Amari, in my opinion, after this season, he might be done, because even Steve Kerr said that they couldn't sign him in Phoenix because they didn't want to insure the last 2 years, because the doctor said that those last 2 years he might not even be effective.
Well, listen, Amari, I love the guy. I really do. I mean, I think Amari is a real genuine guy. I actually had an opportunity to meet Amari Stoudemire when he first came to the Knicks. He had a special, he had a thing for his foundation that I was invited to. He's a great guy, but you got
player,
and he's a good player when he's healthy. But I just think that his health now has been an issue, unfortunately. Amari's health has been an issue. In the first playoff, the second playoff meet, he was an issue. Then he punched the fire extinguisher thingy, which made it even worse, and he was injured. Now he's starting this season off injured. And we got Felton for you. They went back and they understood the chemistry of having Felton with Amari. They went and got Felton. Now So, Amari, we're pulling for you, man. We love you, guy, but you got to get this health straight. And I think that the Knicks, as an organization, their patience is wearing thin. I think the Knicks want to win now. From Dolan on down, to Woodson on down, to Grunwald, everybody on down. 40 years now since the Knicks have won a championship. We want Amari healthy. But we've run out of time.
Really?
There's so much other stuff to talk about.
Oh, man.
But we've run out of time.
Y'all want to do the horse racing. This Friday is the Breeders' Cup. And Friday and Saturday. I'll have the Breeders' Cup preview for Saturday. But Friday, I don't know about. So